So, as we all know, around Wednesday, the Bucks and Kings agreed to sign and trade involving Bogdanovic to the Bucks for Dante DiVincenzo, Ersan Ilyasova, and DJ Wilson. Did I mention this was without telling the player who had to sign first? So, since then, the deal has been cancelled, and Bogdanovic has signed an offer sheet with my Hawks. Hopefully the Kings don't match. They've also waived Ilyasova, so that kills any sign and trade opportunities right there. But the Bucks haven't given up on improving just yet, even if no other options will make them as good as Bogdanovic. They signed DJ Augustine for 3 years, $21 million. He's a decent backup point guard who can hit some threes, handle the ball, kind of run the offense a little bit. He's 5'11", so don't expect him to be much of a defender, but he's okay for a backup role, 20, 25 minutes a game maybe. This is assuming they start both Holiday and DiVincenzo, although the shooting there could be a bit problematic. I mean, to be fair, Augustine's shooting has been a little inconsistent. One season he's shooting 42%, and the next he's hovering around 34-35% from 3. So who really knows with him? They also re-signed Pat Connaughton to 3 years, $16 million, which is locking up a solid, decently athletic wing who can soak up some minutes and won't hurt you, so that's nice. Speaking of a solid wing, there's Torrey Craig, who agreed to a deal with them, although the terms haven't been released just yet. I think this is a really good pickup for them, someone who can play some defense on the wing and on some guards occasionally. The only issue is his shooting. It's pretty bad. He's a career 32% three-point shooter, and that's on limited attempts, like 2.8 maybe. So if you wanted to be really positive and say the percentages are bad because he hasn't really gotten the minutes, be my guest. But I am concerned about his shooting, especially around Giannis. But let's stop talking about question marks at shooting. And let's take a look at one of the Bucks' more recent signings that flew way under the radar for me, Bryn Forbes. He agreed to a 2-year deal with the Bucks and is a career 40% three-point shooter and shot 38% on 6 attempts last year. This shooting will be much needed around Giannis. When you have guys like Jrue Holiday, DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton is a good shooter, and Brook Lopez, who took a step back last year shooting 31% from 3. I mean, you've got to get some shooting around Giannis. Forbes is a very good shooter. He's whatever on defense, not good, not terrible, but when you've got guys like you have on the Bucks, it doesn't matter all that much how he is on defense. And then the final signing so far is Bobby Portis, who is probably just going to be a slightly more athletic Ilyasova. So as you can see, there's a flurry of signings the Bucks have made trying to make up for the fact that they lost out on Bogdanovic, who really pushed them over the edge for me. Now I'm honestly not super sure about this team, especially considering the acquisitions they have made in free agency. I think honestly probably the biggest question for this team is whether or not Forbes starts, and I'm not so sure it's a good idea to not do that. Jrue's a decent shooter. Sometimes, he's another one of those inconsistent guys. 32%, 33%, 35%. It's decent. Okay, not good. Maybe you start DiVincenzo if his shooting took another step forward like it did last year. He shot 29% on 3 attempts last year and then 33% on 3 attempts this year. Maybe he works his way up to 35 or 36% from 3 on the same amount of attempts. And maybe you insert him into the starting lineup and probably end up with one of the best defensive starting 5s in the league. Jrue, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez. It's pretty amazing if you ask me, especially if DiVincenzo can take a step forward as just a player overall. The shooting in that lineup is a serious problem though, which is why I think they have probably to insert Forbes in there. I think you'll probably see him also expand his game a lot this season, becoming a bigger part of the offense than we've seen in years past. I think he'll probably be sitting in the corner a lot still. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him running around, shooting off screens, cutting to the rim, all that sort of stuff. I also wouldn't be surprised if he started shooting like 8 threes a game, considering the rest of the personnel on the team, like we've said. Gallo would have been insane for this team, but he did the opposite of what he said he was going to do and took a big deal from the Hawks, who are not a title contender by any means, but that's neither here or there. I don't have much else to say about this team, to be honest. I think it's a really big wait and see. We'll have to see whether Jrue, DiVincenzo, and Torrey Craig and Bobby Portis, who is a stretch big, but he's not really a stretch big. His percentages are okay on low attempts. I mean, I really don't know what to feel about Bobby Portis. He's fine, I guess. That is the biggest question for me is the shooting. Their playmaking department is also looking pretty lacking, although Drew is actually a pretty decent passer. Augustine is fine, he's all right. It's just going to have to be a wait-and-see game. Like I said, the shooting could be very problematic, but we'll just have to see. And we'll also have to see how Giannis progresses as a player, because that is really important. Giannis is not a perfect player, and if he doesn't improve, then it's not going to matter what the team does around him, because his game is limiting the team. He can't be airballing free throws. He's got to take it up a notch on the jump shot. He's got to get better playmaking. I mean, it's just, he has to improve all around, even if he did win MVP back-to-back. So, but if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike. And y'all, have a good one.